You can type point texture in chat. There will be a link to their website where you can go and download it for yourself.
these bags came in, I would stay up all night praying, hoping I can help my people. Now that I do, everything changed. I grew up around the dope dealers, cold-blooded killers. I just never hesitate to go and put a hold on you. Whole things, I done seen them whole things. Living life lavish, different car, same country, different week. I'm in the top floor, chillin' in the suite. Big cigars, breaking down the Swisher Sweets. Rolling up grape tape until I'm asleep. Look, I could not lie.
Mic check, mic check. Ooh, it's a little loud. Where we at? Mic check, mic check, mic check. Yeah. Some crackling going on. What the hell's that? What the fuck? Huh. Troubleshoot this mic. It seems like it's got like a little popping thing. Maybe it just needs to be unplugged and plugged back up. Man, it's still doing it a little bit. Maybe we'll get by. Jesus. Mic check. I guess maybe we'll get by with this like this. I don't know. What the hell? I mean, I guess I should. We're just going to deal with it for right now. All right, let's see. We'll just have like a little low roll in the background. Huh. That is so odd, that noise, but alright, so it's been a couple weeks since we've done like the actual video face to face, right? So it's about time. There's some news out with the Supreme Court in Mississippi concerning their medical cannabis program. Let me make sure I got this camera shit straight. You know what I mean? Okay. Let me crop that shit up because it's looking kind of janky. Should have cropped it a little bit better before I started. There we go. Let me put me a little filter on, give myself a tan or something. Like I'm half Mexican and I look white as shit. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but I need some color. You know what I'm saying? I need some color. I need some color in my life. Let's see. Nah, that looks like shit. Hell, let's just we'll do a black and white one. That'll be cool. Right. Okay. Alright, so shit, let me get me a water. All right, and just to let you know, if you do stay tuned, we're gonna do like a little DJ mix, about 30 minutes. Nothing too long. I gotta do some. I gotta go to work today, so we're just gonna go ahead and I'm really kind of doing some like on the fly digging. I hadn't done a lot of preparation for this. I just did like a little Google search and saw some articles that I thought might have been of interest to somebody. So we're gonna go over them today. So let's get into it. All right. Hold on. Actually, let me do a little organization because I don't need. Okay, yeah. So I just need to go off of this one. I like this little background music kind of playing. It's just not so much just dead sound in my voice. If it bothers anybody, just let me know. We'll change it up. You know, I want it to be pleasant when we talk about stuff. So, all right, let's get into it. The first one. Mississippi Supreme Court hears challenge to medical marijuana measure approved by voters. Let's see. All right, it says right below the picture, it says, I believe our justices will do what's right and uphold the will of the voters, one of the ballot initiative supporters said. I mean, like, whether you're for it or against it, right? If you're going to complain, you know, about fairness and, you know, this and that and the other, the Constitution, things like that. I mean, if 73% of Mississippians voted, I think it's 73%, voted to approve this. It's not like it's a slim margin, right? And it's, I mean, in my personal opinion, Mississippi really needs, I mean, we need it in general, right? In general as a human species, right? But it could do so much for Mississippi, Mississippians, and Mississippi itself. I mean, the financial aspect of it, the health of it. I mean, you know, we got a weight problem in Mississippi. Not saying anything about nobody that's got a weight problem. You know, I'm not at my ideal weight at the moment. You know what I mean? So I'm not Not throwing salt nowhere. I'm just saying we like to eat. We like to cook out. We like to fried shit. Like, we like to eat. And so, I mean, just believe it or not, people can use weed to help them lose weight, right? People always associate weed with getting hungry and paranoia. That's the most common thing. I like people that aren't not necessarily against it, but just not really for it. Those are their complaints, right? Is paranoia and munchies. But that's a lack of understanding of the terpene profiles of the plants, right? Once you understand that, then you can mitigate having those types of experiences by pinpointing which terpene causes you to be paranoid, right? I've figured it out myself. For me, in the sativa plant, there's a terpene called limonene, which is a really good terpene, right? It's really good. It's got great benefits. It's like antiviral. It's also in like lemons, a lot of citrus fruit. So I mean, it's all over. But it's that terpene that when you smoke it with in a sativa plant, like even they're trying to solve the world's problems, like deep thought, just you get it all in your head. And if the plant's real high in humulene, like, it makes me paranoid as shit. That's why when I could pick and choose, if I went for a sativa, I would go to something like Strawberry Cough, because Strawberry Cough is a sativa, but it has no limonene in it, and it's a wonderful like morning time strand. I did like a little experiment one time. This has been a while back, but I'd always hear people talk about doing like cannabis and coffee, or how certain strands are even better than coffee, and this, that, and other. And so I'd heard that about Strawberry Cough, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna give it a try, right? And I like to start work early, right? And so I was gonna try it, like I was gonna try some right before I got in the shower. Excuse me. And see how it did me. And keep in mind, like, I didn't smoke a blunt. I didn't even smoke a joint, right? I literally smoked half of like a small bowl in a pipe, right? That's all I had. Not even a full bowl. So I go in, I take a shower, and got out, got dressed for work, freaking wide awake. Like, it was better than any of the coffee that I drink in the morning. Like, the only thing that really does is it helps me go to the bathroom, right? I'm looking for the terpene that'll help me go to the bathroom. But energy wise, no shakes, and wide awake. Like, had energy. Is in such a great mood too. It's got pinene in it, and if you've watched any of my other videos, like, that pinene is like my favorite terpene. If you missed it, just kind of give you an explanation of pinene. Pinene is, you got A pinene and B pinene, and pinene is also like in pine trees and pine cones, right? It's a great anti-stress and anti-anxiety, things like that, and it really gives you that sense of like being high, right? And what I mean by that is, so when you smoke a strain that's real high in pinene, like when it first hits you, it'll start massaging right here, like it'll be like a hugging sensation in between your eyes, and as it goes on, it spreads to the side of your face, right? And it's a hugging sensation. That's all it is. And as it goes along, it melts into like your upper chest cavity, and that's where it sits, right? It's not a full body high, but it's like that upper body high with mental stimulation. It's a really, really good terpene if you have stress, and like you just say you get off work and it's really been one of those days. Pining will do you better, I think, in my opinion, than anything else. And like when you have a good strand and it's got a good amount of that, and it's high in THC, because the amount of THC also determines how strong that terpene is going to be, or how strongly you're going to feel it. But what was I saying? Damn, I lost my train of thought. That popping noise is getting on my nerves. But understanding your terpene will help you mitigate the paranoia, munchies, right? If you actually want a strand that's going to actually make you not hungry, like no desire to eat. Not that, you can hold off on eating. No. I'm talking about no desire to eat. And that's humulene. Humm. Let me see how to spell it. We're gonna continue going over this thing, but I wanna go over this because I know some of my ladies will humulene. Will be interested in this. Like, how do you spell human? Maybe that's it. Let's see. Terpene. Here it is. Humulene terpene. Pop. Gosh, damn it. I just don't understand what's going on with that popping thing. All right, so and just to kind of give you an idea, if you're in Mississippi, you haven't gone legal, nobody's got any legal bud yet, but if you're shopping with your person, if you smell like your bag and it has a strong piney smell to it, best believe it's going to be a great time for one, but it's high in pinene. And anytime that you smell that, I promise you, guarantee you, forehead, face, upper chest cavity. So, all right. This is humulene. Humulene is a natural appetite suppressant, right? Appetite suppressant. And I'll tell you a little story in a minute about like a little experiment that I did. All right. The subtle, earthy, wood, and spicy notes that give hoppy beers their distinct taste and aroma are also partly responsible for giving cannabis its unique scent. But hops and cannabis share a common terpene, humulene. But there's more to humulene than its herbaceous charm. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. It's found in a wide variety of plants, and it's been used for centuries in holistic Eastern medicinal practices. Humulene is no stranger to modern biomedical research, including studies on black pepper hops and ginseng, and research has proven it to be an effective anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and appetite suppressant. All right, let's see. It's also found in hops and wood, other strands with humulene. All right, gelato. I'm going to tell you a story about gelato. Sherbet, Girl Scout cookies. Let's see. All right, so buddy of mine had some gelato one time, and I was like, man, like this would be a perfect time to do me a little experiment, and maybe like I was just gonna not eat very much and then smoke some and see how my hunger was. Like, did it really work to keep me from being hungry, or did it just help me stave off hunger pains? There's two different things. So I'm a big I'm a huge breakfast person, right? Huge breakfast person. And so I woke up about 6 or 7, and I ate, like, we get these little blueberry muffin packs. There's like 5 small ones in the bag. So I ate a bag of those, right? Which is equivalent to, basically a small blueberry muffin, really, not even a big one. So I ate it about, 7:30, right? Had my coffee. Went to my buddy's house about 9 o'clock, right? He rolled a big fat blunt of gelato. It was me, my neighbor, him, and his cousin. And so, we were just hanging out, talking and smoking it. We smoked the entire blunt, right? Got through maybe 10 o'clock, it took us, I say about 30 minutes. It took us about 30 minutes to smoke it. I didn't even like have a desire to even go and look for food until after 2 o'clock. It was the craziest thing I've ever experienced. Like, I had thought about, I was like, damn, like I need to eat lunch. But like I didn't even have a desire to like have a snack, right? It works really good. It works really good. If you get an opportunity to grab gelato, real gelato, make sure you know that's gelato, sherbet, Girl Scout cookies, try to do that. Try to, do an experiment and see. All right. Let's go back to the article. I ranted on about that enough. But I just want you to understand your terpenes, right? And understand, like, if you understand how they smell, like, your favorite one, if you, depending upon what it smells like, you could possibly be able to smell it, if you're having to buy it from your local person, be able to at least identify some of the terpenes in that by smell. You can get that good. So maybe not all the terpenes, because some of them smell similar, but there's some that smell like gas, like real gas. There's some that smell like detergent. Linalool is one. So it's just, just depends on which one. So study up on it. There's a website called Cannabis Cope, COPE. I'll put it right here. Cannabis Cope. And so you can go in here and they have like this little wheel. Check out our equity crowdfund. Go to micro ventures. I might invest in that shit right there. Yes, over 21. So you got to experience and say you want to be energetic. And let's see, what do they have? Topical, edible, pet. No, not CBD. Flower. Yes. Wheel. Over 21. So go to experience. Let's go to sedative. Ingestible. Oil. Huh. They've changed it up a little bit, but you used to have it to where you could actually learn about terpenes and stuff. But I mean, you can go to Leafly, Leafly, and you can find out a lot of stuff over there. So let's go back. The medical marijuana program Mississippi voters approved in November, set to begin in August, hangs in the balance with the state Supreme Court, which heard oral arguments about Initiative 65 on Wednesday. The arguments have nothing to do with medical marijuana or the program voters enshrined in the state constitution, but on procedural issues. Whether Initiative 65's placement on the ballot through a signature petition was constitutionally proper. Chief Justice Michael Randolph indicated the 9-judge court would issue an opinion as quickly as possible, and I know many people are waiting on this. This is ridiculous. It's in the judge's hands now, said Madison Mary Hawkins Butler, who filed a Supreme Court challenge to Initiative 65 just days before voters approved it November 3rd. This is one of the most defining moments for our state. We can take care of other antiquated laws that are hindering our progress and growth. Hawkins left the High Court's chambers without taking further media questions Wednesday. Secretary of State Michael Watson, who took office after the November election, said, "Brilliant attorneys on each side of Butler versus Watson made compelling arguments, and regardless of the outcome, we're all friends, we're all Mississippians, and we'll move forward." Butler argues that the ballot initiative language added to Section 273, I guess it's paragraph 3, of the state constitution in 1992 requires proponents to gather signatures evenly from 5 Mississippi congressional districts, with no more than 1/5 or 20% coming from any single district to ensure geographic parity, priority, whatever. But Mississippi has had only 4 congressional districts since the 2000 census. Butler argues it's a mathematical certainty that of the nearly 160,000 certified voter signatures collected from what are now 4 districts to put Initiative 65 on ballot last year, signatures from at least one of the districts surpasses 20%. Watson argues that while a panel of federal judges ordered Mississippi to use a 4-district map for congressional elections, the legislature never adopted it in state law, and 5 congressional districts exist under state law and may be used for anything but congressional elections. The old districts are still used for appointments to state agencies, boards, and commissions. Watson's lawyer from the Attorney General's office says Watson's predecessor, now Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann, properly certified Initiative 65 signatures using the 5 old districts in state law. Lawyers on both sides argue Wednesday that plain language reading of the passage in the state constitution makes their case. The language is plain, and a congressional district is the area from where a member of Congress is elected, says Katie M. Pickett, attorney for Butler. "We have 4. Ask anybody on the street how many we have. They'll say 4. Qualified elector, those words matter. 2. Someone cannot be a qualified elector of the 5th district, a district that does not exist." Deputy Attorney General Justin L. Matheny, Representative Watson, said a plain reading of the entire ballot initiative section of the Constitution makes clear voters have the right to amend the Constitution at the ballot box, and the 1/5 petition signature requirement is simply to make sure they are geographically dispersed. Both stipulations were met with Initiative 65, Matheny told justices. He said the section also prohibits the legislature from doing anything to impair voter rights to a ballot initiative. Justices noted that the state congressional districts have changed and will continue to change with population shifts. Matthews said this shows the intent of constitutional framers was not to have the initiative right nullified by a change in congressional districts. "We don't think the intent was to set up something impossible," Matheny said. Justice Kenny Griffiths said he understood the legislature in the 1990s was reluctant to allow voters to approve a ballot initiative process and did so kicking and screaming. He questioned whether some of the wording had the intent of defeating the ability of people to change the Constitution. Chief Justice Randolph's questioning of Matheny was at times pointed and sharp. You want me to go to a statute in order to interpret the Constitution. Randolph told Matheny, I've got a problem with that. The dictionary says a congressional district is a part of a state from which a member of the United States of Representatives is elected. If the words are clear, everybody in this room, including you, agrees we have 4 congressional districts. Why go anywhere else? What license do we have to go past the plain language outside of that? All right. Justice Robert Chamberlain and James Maxwell II questioned Pickett why the legislature and voters would have adopted a constitutional amendment thinking it would be subject to census changes. Your position is the legislature adopted this with the understanding it could be impossible to meet in 10 years or less, Chamberlain said. Maxwell said, so if we lose a federal representative through federal law, it means our senators don't have the means to change our state constitution. Somehow those two things are related. He asked that. Justice Josiah Coleman noted that the state statute with 5 congressional districts have never been declared unconstitutional. We have never been asked to declare it so, Pickett responded, that a statute cannot change the plain meaning of the Constitution. Justice Dawn Beam, at the outset of the hearing, noted her children were watching a live stream of the proceedings, and I want to make it clear. It is totally irrelevant what this court thinks about how we voted on Initiative 65, but the court will make its decision on constitutional issues. Medical marijuana was barely mentioned during Wednesday's hearing. Justice James Kitchen and Leslie King did not ask any questions of either side during Wednesday's arguments. Some legal and political observers have questioned whether an adverse ruling on Initiative 65 could open other ballot initiatives from the past 20 years, such as limits on eminent domain and voter ID requirements, to be challenged and overturned. Watson said he believes that is not a concern because of the doctrine of laches. Barring unreasonable delays and legal challenges would prevent such issues. He said laches should also have prevented Butler's challenge on Initiative 65 just days before the November 3rd election. But Watson said he is concerned about current and future initiatives and noted that 3 or 4 are to the point of gathering signatures now, and amid uncertainty until and maybe after the court rules. It would appear a ruling totally accepting Butler's arguments would nullify voter rights to ballot initiatives until legislature and voters change both the Constitution and state law. Damn. Angie Calhoun, it shouldn't be such a process. Like, if you got some shit on the books, all right, this is blah, 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 and the majority wants to change it, like, we shouldn't have to wait on these elections. Like, we need to be able to have like these sessions where, if this is what they want us to do, right, vote and change state and state and local law, Constitution and state law, then give people, adequate, like, give them, don't drag it out. Like, if they want to change something, they get X amount of signatures, regardless of where they come from in the state. Regardless of where they come from in the state, the majority or whatever amount want this done, then the entire state can vote on it. Right? Get the signatures. Because if that many people are passionate about something, at least get it in front of others so they can make a decision. Right? Maybe they don't know about it, and you got to put them onto it. And the ballot, having a special election is the best way to do it. I don't know. But, this is, you can just tell this is like legal. It's like legal warfare. It's lawfare, trying to stop this from happening. And then make it another, 10 years before the shit. Like, no, it's gotta change. Like, a lot of these things are just holding Mississippi back. Like I was a DJ there for a long time and love my Mississippi people, man. Like, a lot of support from everybody in Jackson, Gulf Coast, all over, but it's just, like, I don't know, there's this mentality, that's there. Not everybody, but it seems like the people that are in positions that matter, there's this mentality of, like, reluctancy to do anything new. I mean, shit, like the EDM guys that came before me, that's all they did. EDM guys, like, they worked their ass off trying to build a scene and all this kind of stuff, and and built up a pretty good little scene for a while. I remember. Then it kind of fell off, right? And then, like, the new EDM comes about, and we try to revitalize the scene with this new EDM because, like, a lot of it is relatable to some of the mainstream people. But I was playing a dubstep remix to Future's Same Damn Time. It was a super dope remix, right? Because it had a lot of the original song in the beginning, and then it went into, like, the dubstep drop, and I thought it was perfect. Late night, it was about 1:30 or so. Play, it was leading up to the drop, right? And everybody was singing along, dancing, and then that drop came, and the whole crowd just get a text message on my phone. The owner's like, "Don't play that shit, it's weird." I'm like, what? And it's not just him, but I look at the Ferris Street district and the holdups there, and I don't know what the story is with there. I'm sure there's a front-facing story, and then there's probably the real story behind that. But from Memphis to New Orleans, like, we're in that Chicago. We're in that thing. Like, we should be cemented in music history and entertainment, really. I mean, the Delta, like, all over. It's just frustrating to see so much potential in my state, in my home state, that's not being utilized. Because Mississippi could be so great of a state, but it's like all these excuses, and I believe they're all front-facing excuses, and then there's the real reasons. So anyway, let me get back to this. I gotta turn what you call it. When did that stop? YouTube's going to fucking ding me for having copyrighted music. All right, let's see. Angie Calhoun of Puckett, one of the leaders of the citizen-led drive for medical marijuana in Mississippi, attended Wednesday night's high court hearing and had signed on as an amicus, or friend of the court, on Watson's side. Calhoun is the mother of a son who suffered medical problems she said could have been treated with marijuana. Her son, now an adult, eventually moved out of the state so he could use medical marijuana. "I believe our justices would do what's right and uphold the will of the voters," Calhoun said. "I feel like our legislators obviously failed us. Our lawmakers..." Shit, where was I at? After lawmakers failed for years to approve use of medical marijuana, despite a groundswell of public support, voters took matters in hand in November with Initiative 65, The legislature tried this session to pass a backstop or alternative medical marijuana program should the Supreme Court strike down the one voters passed, but the legislation was killed after much debate. Shit. Hold on. Hello? Hello? Yes. Yeah, we do have a toilet issue. And we got an AC issue, but we got a toilet issue too. My bad. What happened? Yeah. I got maintenance coming today. I guess they're coming to fix the toilet. I didn't mean to put all my business out there like that, but anyway, so legislation was killed after much debate, and Initiative 65 supporters viewed it as a legislative move to usurp the will of the voters. I agree. I think it's bullshit. They should have just let it ride. Like, make the money, help the people. I mean, you see so much, you see success in these other states. And these cannabis business owners, like, they're 99.99% of them are 100% serious about doing the right thing, abiding by the law, and doing what's right. And it'll be a really great thing for people. It's changed my life. I don't have to take any Xanax anymore. I don't take any of that stuff. And really, I've gotten to the point, like, if I take anything for pain, it's like Tylenol, really. So I really hope that things can move forward. In August, the cars can start going out and shit. But fuck, you gotta still grow it. I don't think they're allowing people to actually grow right now. Maybe, I don't know, but I don't think so. I mean, if they haven't given out the cards, then I don't think the program's finished. It's another year before you can actually buy anything. So I don't know. Let's keep our eyes peeled on that. I'll do some more research, find some different articles. I know that there was one. Let's see. Oh, that's where they killed the alternative bill. Let's see, uncertainty. Yeah, so we'll go over some of this other stuff a little later. I just wanted to kind of go over that thing that dealt with the Supreme Court in Mississippi. So just it's bustling. See, like, right, earliest for many nonprofit perform, blah blah. Yeah, so I guess they're not allowed to grow anything yet. So it's gonna be a little minute, Ooh, Washington clarifies Delta 8 THC not legal under what? Washington clarifies Delta 8 THC not legal under current regulations. What? Wow. I gotta send this to my boy. But anyway, so all right, I'm gonna jump off of here. Yeah, look into that Delta 8 THC. They're gonna ban that. Like, that's so stupid. Because the law is Delta 9. It's not Delta 8. But they always gotta be fucking shit up. They do. Makes me angry. angry. All right, but got to get off. What time is it? It's 11:30. Might jump on the turntables about 30 minutes or so. Grab me something to eat. And so just make sure that you like, share, subscribe, tell your friend, tell a friend, and make sure you support your boy.